Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Brandon again. We're still here in Seattle, which means we're in my hotel room. You're getting a video on the iPhone. So, because the content is kind of meh, there's no reason for the quality to be eh. Like what I did there? A little bit weird. If I was editing on my workstation, I would definitely edit that out. But this is going to be a direct upload, so we're just going to roll with the punches. Now, today's video is actually something I think we've discussed at one point or another on one of my two channels that I've had. But we've had several hundred videos on each, and it's hard to tell. But regardless, it's a good timing for it. And unfortunately, I'm not like other YouTubers who like to pop a couple of Smirnoff Ices, maybe run a bubble bath, and watch themselves on their tablet, max tuning. So we're just going to kind of roll with it, and we're going to make this video anyways. And it's my channel, so I can do what I want. But the topic for today's video is changing your workout program in relation to changes you're making in your diet. And again, I said this is relevant only because of the time of the year here. It's spring, will be summer soon, so many of us are starting our cuts. Now, as my good friend Chris Jones would say, we're trying to get hoe ready. Now, Chris Jones would say that. I would not say that, only because I don't know if you've noticed or not, but our complexions just a little bit different. I don't got that BBC genetics, unless we're talking about below the pants, and in that case, hi-oh. Wish I could edit that out too. But that being said, a lot of us are trying to diet right now to get ready for the summer so we can go to the beach, so we can go to the pool, so we can go to World Gym Del Rey and have people take pictures of us in our underwear and post it on Instagram. Jason Genova, not that I judge. But regardless, oftentimes when we do this, we're told or we think that we need to either change our current routine or that we can't do a certain workout program that we're interested in because we're going into a deficit and it wouldn't be ideal. So I wanted to discuss that a little bit today on video and say that that shouldn't be the case. If you want to do a strength training program and go on a deficit, you can do that. In fact, you should be able to maintain most of your strength levels and in fact, increase them at least initially, if you go about it in a smart and effective way. And what does that really mean? Well, to me, a smart and effective way is not jumping into a big caloric deficit overnight. So let's give you an example. You're on a dreamer bulk of 500 calories. Life is good. You wake up the next day and say, oh crap, I have spring break coming up, summer vacations coming, whatever it might be. Tomorrow I'm starting my diet. I'm going to go in a 500 calorie deficit, which basically equates to a 1,000 calorie swing overnight, which is a very big energy difference. You're probably going to have a bad time, and you're probably going to see some ill effects from it. So I would not suggest jumping into a big deficit overnight. Work yourself into a deficit slowly, which brings me to my second point of not only do you not want to do that overnight, but I would probably suggest against going into an overly large deficit as is anyways. Now for me, the sweet spot is somewhere around 200 to 300 calories. I know a lot of people like to go with 500 as the standard, but from my own personal experience, I found I still suffer some significant strength loss when doing so. And while you might see some initial weight loss benefits of going into a bigger deficit, for me, maintaining some of the stuff I just spent the last several weeks or months building, strength, size, whatever, hopefully I want to hold on to as much of that as possible. So I'd like to work myself into a slow deficit of somewhere between 200 and 300 calories. And we can talk about how to do that the best way in another video. Today's video is again talking about should you change your workout program because of that? And again, my answer is no, because to me, the only time you should really change your workout program is when your training goals change. So if you're no longer interested in building strength, change your workout. Let's say you're going from bodybuilding and you want to start doing powerlifting. Change your workout. Let's say you're doing powerlifting and you want to go to CrossFitting. That's a trick question because no one in their right mind would ever do that. I'm just making sure you're paying attention. But hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Your training should be in line with your training goals, not your necessarily dietary goals. However, I will say with that though, there is some gray area. So let's take the example of a competitive bodybuilder. And competitive means they actually put on the mankini and they have an intention of getting on stage, which means their cuts can last anywhere from 20 weeks or more. So while initially when they first start cutting, they might be able to build strength, still doing a strength training program. If we're talking about week 20 of a diet and they're at very low levels of body fat, very low caloric intake, and again, they've been doing it for 20 weeks, their training goal, if they're smart, should not be to build strength at that point. So while true, diet does play a role in that sense, it's still more because their training goals themselves changed. So hopefully you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. If you want to go onto a certain routine like Wendler or something like that, I know a lot of people ask me about that. They ask me about Fat Training by Layne Norton. Don't be scared off of that just because you're going into a deficit, but just make sure you're going about your dieting correctly. That way not only are you losing the weight you want to lose, but you're also maintaining and in some cases building that strength that we all crave. Sweet, sweet gains. So, as always, appreciate you guys watching. In the meantime, stay big.